It's March 29th, 2013, and some things obviously are happening. Hey, North Korea is still making threats. Syria is still going on. Wars in Africa, just everywhere. But I want to kind of explain something here. Sometimes it's important to know what the media is telling you, and what's even more important is what they don't tell you, or conflicting information from supposed official sources. And we're seeing a lot of that. The whole thing in Syria now is kind of quieted down. We're not saying much in the media in the United States about that right now. And of course, it was because the fact that Al-Qaeda is being funded by the CIA and controlled by the CIA and the American government, and possibly NATO as well. And that they were the ones that used chemical weapons over there. Now we're kind of being quiet. The world community saying, hey, what about this? And so here in the United States, the way they handle it is they just stop talking about it. And that's kind of what's happened. Very important. North Korea, same kind of thing. We have officials saying they're a paper tiger, and then others saying, no, there's a real threat. Which is it, I think that the fact of the matter is that North Korea could cause a lot of trouble. Conventionally, they're okay. They're not the greatest, but they have a large army, as I've said before. Nuclear capability, they have to carry it with them in the field. They don't really have any way of delivering it by missiles at this point. However, that doesn't rule out chemical and biological warfare, and I've told you that before. What's my feeling on all of this propaganda that's going on? Well, I still really strongly feel that given what's in the media, especially in the entertainment industry, they have North Korea being the bad guy in Olympus Has Fallen, in The New Red Dawn, and some other things. We have all of the denigration of especially white conservatives. And again, I'm not trying to say that whites are getting picked on here. I'm saying, that obviously this is a divide and conquer thing, but there's a race card being played heavily here in the United States. If you know anything about the SB Nation article that came out where they show, white people, how stupid looking they are. You could never get away with doing that against blacks or Mexicans. But they do it with whites all the time now. It's this divide and conquer thing. Put whites on the defensive and then start dividing everybody up. But anyway, I see a lot of this going on, and I really believe with the information that I'm looking at that North Korea will be painted as the bad guy, and it is, absolutely. But you're not going to get any conservative groups in the U.S. that are going to go along with any North Korean action here, guerrilla-type warfare or black operations. However, that's how it could very likely be spun. So as I've said all along, keep your eyes open on the horizon and your ears to the ground. That's kind of my motto right now, because it really fits. Don't believe what you see. Look at it from the point of view of the people that stand to gain the most. And in this situation, as in most of history, it's the people with the money, the banksters in this case. And of course, supplying weapons of war, getting the money from that, making you pay for it, and then you pay for it, with money, and then with the lives of your children. How this can go. So what I'm saying is that what you hear is sometimes not as important as what you're not hearing. So keep your eyes out on that. I wanted to bring up this thing about Obama's artist who has come out with posters showing that believing in the Second Amendment is the same thing as being a Satanist. And of course, that's not true. And I want to point out something to you that you may not know, and this is, again, from my study. Demons don't, I'm talking about, spiritual matters, mystical things. Demons, Satans, Lucifers, those kind of people, they don't like weapons. They want you to use weapons against each other. But the idea that a true Satanist, a true demon, would be in possession of a weapon is contrary to the meaning. A weapon is indicative of individual strength, rights, the whole idea of freedom and liberty. In other words, the sovereign, that the citizen is as sovereign as the state in that you don't want the state to have a monopoly of power, because that's where tyrants come from. So demons are actually afraid of weapons. So no Satanist per se is going to feel comfortable with weapons. Okay, no, that's the individual, that's the God-given right. So when you see that equation of Satanists and that gun owners are Satanists, that is a mutually exclusive situation. And I can't prove that to you right now because I don't have the time, but that is in fact the case. Now you might say, well, what about Satanists using knives and stuff like that in their sacrifices? Yeah, that's right. But the concept of the weapon, especially firearms, swords, things like that, is indicative of individual freedom and liberty, and Satan isn't for that. So equating gun owners with Satan is really the height of hypocrisy. But it shows you how far the system is willing to go. DHS has come out and said that blind obedience by its Border Patrol, and of course the rest of DHS, is required. This is starting to sound an awful lot like the Nazi brown shirts, okay? Or the SS taking an oath of obedience to Hitler. No. You take an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, and any orders to obey your senior officers have to be in line with that. It's that way in the military, and it has to be that way also in DHS, although I think DHS is an illegal organization for lots of reasons. It's bringing the military into control of the civilian population, which is prohibited. But they're trying to do a sneak attack around by not calling it the military, the armed services. They're calling it a police force, but it isn't. It's actually a militarized force. They're trying to get around the Constitution that way, and it's very bad. They are brown shirts, and they are fascists. And I'm going to tell you that, guys in the DHS, you guys are the same thing as Nazis. Okay? Don't kid yourselves. You are not doing anybody a favor in this country. All you're doing is getting a paycheck, and you're willing to use anything you can to get that paycheck. It's wrong. It's just plain wrong. I don't even know if DHS takes an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. They probably don't. I'd like to find out. I probably ought to. Okay, remember I said that the situation with Syria is what's important was what you don't hear in the news almost as much as what you do hear. And of course, this whole thing coming out with Syria rebels using the chemical agents is something that's kind of messed up Washington's and Tel Aviv's reasons for getting involved in Syria, because now, it's the rebels they're supplying to who are Al-Qaeda. Okay, they are. Again, Al-Qaeda is the tool of the CIA, Western intelligence services, and NATO. It's just the fact of the matter. I would spend more time explaining that, but I think I've kind of beat a dead horse on that over the last few videos. Okay, big news here, not for anybody that was paying attention. Now they're coming out and admitting, Obamacare is going to increase insurance premiums by at least 30%, and it's going to be even higher. People that saw this coming several years ago said, no, this is being written by the insurance companies. It's a scam, and now it's coming out that it doesn't cover what they said it would. It's making us cover things that we shouldn't have to, like transgender operations, transsex operations. Yet kill your grandma because she's a burden on the system. I mean, you knew this was coming, right? Everything that's done by this government is to destroy the American spirit of liberty. Okay, everything. And it's really disappointing and it's discouraging. At least it is to anybody that has their eyes and ears open. Obama was raised by communists, trained by communists, schooled by communists, educated by communists. And he came up out of nowhere and he's pretending to be something that he's not. Although, the old saying is watch what they do, not what they say. Judge them by their fruits. I brought up this thing with Obama saying that the United States and Israel, that alliance is eternal. And I told you what that meant. Okay, it means God. Understand, please, that they are saying that the state is God. Okay? And that, of course, the leaders that are in the place there, Obama in particular, the United States here, is God also, or a representative of the God head, That's what's happening here. That's really what that meant, ladies and gentlemen. They are trying to tell you that the governments of this world are God. Okay? Now, it doesn't matter who's in the office. It's the idea that the government is omniscient and omnipotent and has the right to control your life. This is Satan in the physical world like we've never seen him before. The entire technocracy is to watch you. Remember I said, make sure that you do what you're supposed to do. Make sure that you obey. Make sure that, you're told what to eat and how to wipe your bottom and all these crazy things. You think I'm kidding? This is getting serious, okay? The beast is here. It is being put into place in its final stages. And the power of the beast and of the Antichrist is real in the world today, more so than it's ever been in the past. We are definitely in trouble. Okay. Washington Times on March 27th, I forgot to mention this, said that the Border Patrol is taking people off the border because of sequestration. Oh yeah, right. And they're building FEMA camps. DHS is buying armored vehicles. They're buying all these weapons and ammunition, but they can't protect the border. I hope you understand what's really happening here. Okay, they're not worried about the people coming across the border. They're going to move those agents further and further inland and start controlling the American citizens more on the highways, in the cities. That's what they're doing. They're turning this whole apparatus back into and against the American people. I'm going to have something more to say about that a little later in another video, but I just want you to know that that's what's happening. It's real obvious if you look at it. Okay? All right. Like I said, I'm going to have this video a little bit on some spiritual stuff a little later. And it really is important information. I hope you'll join me. I'm not sure what it'll be called yet, but you'll see it. I'm going to try to film it outside where there's a breath of fresh air. Okay, but it's going to be subsequent to this one. Let me just put it to you this way, just real quick right now. I've seen things develop over the last little while. This thing with Obama saying that the alliance of Israel and the United States is eternal, is God. There's some other things happening, almost outside of observation, unless you're really paying attention. I think God is moving. Is he going to save us? I don't know about that. We're being tested here. I don't know that many of us are going to be saved. But I've told you about making a choice. Well, like I said, some other things have come up where you'd be able to tell what the good side is and what the bad side, and there won't be much question. So I'm going to be talking about that a little later. Okay? Just a quick update. Hope to see you when I do that. All right? See you later. Thanks. Bye.